for inviting me for your channel and giving me the platform here. You're among the only ones so far that actually came forward and tried to help us amplify our voice. In the last episode of my live, I was there with Rebecca. She came as well. And I came and I said, I'm going to use my channel, my voice right now as much as I can to give a voice to the voiceless people in Syria. CNN is not covering it. Mainstream media is ignoring it. Literally, it's insane. There's an ethnical cleansing on steroids that is happening in Syria, Daesh style, Hamas style, ISIS style, Al Qaeda style, you name it. They're just all together. And the whole government of Syria is backing this up. So, should I start from the beginning and just kind of give people some? Yeah. So what happened? The Druze are about 1.5 million on planet Earth. It's a very small, tiny minority, very peaceful one. And the majority of them are living in Syria. And the majority in Syria are living in Sueda. That's the mountain of the Druze. And between it to Israel, there's no real connection. There's the Bedouin lands. Now, the Jolani government was told by Israel, stay away from southern of Damascus. You're not allowed to come south because they don't want all these jihadists and ISIS. These are Al Qaeda and ISIS. We don't want another October 7. And also hands off the Druze. So Jolani, who's been planning for a long time to cleanse Syria from any minority, from anyone who is not Sunnah, by the way, so even Muslims, but starting with the Alawites, the Christians, the Druze, they want to, completely erase them and take their land, steal their women and children. So they were sending their proxies, the Bedouins, who are living in the area of Daraa. Now, these Bedouins, to people to understand, when Israel was helping the people in Syria, when Assad was slaughtering them, Israel built a hospital for these Bedouins and were treating them. And the Druze were actually protecting them. They were getting out of their villages to rescue them when Assad regime was trying to murder them. And to repay the Druze for their kindness, what they did is they immediately jumped and decided to backstab and betray them. Same thing like we saw with the people of Gaza. The first one that they slaughtered were actually the Jews, the peaceful ones that were living around, and they killed them. The people that were, trying to send them aid and education for their kids and food, they were the first one that they went and slaughtered them. So these guys have been attacking the Druze and sieging on them. And the last attack that happened 3 days ago. There was a convoy of food trying to get to the Druze because they're running out of food, running out of water, ammunition, electricity, everything. And they raided that convoy, kidnapped some people, took their food, took their money, and the Druze went to rescue that people that get kidnapped. So what they did, they spoke the language of the Arab men. They went and they kidnapped people from the same, kind of Bedouin tribe. They told them, give us back our guys, we'll give you back our guys. It worked. But what happened, the government used that chance to come and say, here, the Druze are terrorists, they're kidnapping our own people. And what they did is, with these jihadists affiliated with Al-Qaeda flags, ISIS flags, driving alongside with them, driving all the tanks and artillery and Grad missiles. Who brings Grad rockets to fight a village in Syria? I mean, they came with intention to completely wipe them out. Now, they're trying to say that they're defending themselves. If the Druze would have invaded Damascus, I would say, yes, you're defending, but you're actually going to their home with tanks and heavy artillery and drones that were bought by Qatar, by the way, and they were afraid to go up the mountain because they knew what would happen when they go inside the Druze turf. When they go in their mountain, they're dead. So what they did, they started attacking these villages around on the flat land, luring the Druze to come and try to rescue the women and children and kidnapped, and then killing them in the open fields. The Druze don't stand a lot of chance against an army with weapons and sponsorship, Turkey and Qatar, heavy, equipment. So they're getting killed in the field, but they were losing these villages. So up until last night, they've lost about 5 to 6 Druze villages. And then Israel went and shot a few warning shots to stop it. Now, I'm so thankful for Israel, but again and again, they're proving that they don't understand the language of the Arab men. Why? Because by doing so, they ended up causing more damage. I have my own relatives who are fighting there. They're literally talking with me, what's up? Some of them are in their homes, protecting their families on the front line. They were telling me, Mansour, they're doing more harm than help. And I said, what do you mean? He says, when the fighter jets flew over the air, all these coward jihadists froze. Allah Akbar started running away. When a rocket went down, they panicked. They stopped fighting for about 3-4 hours. But then they looked around and said, nothing really happened. So they advanced a little bit more, took another village. Israel shot another rocket. I said, if Israel meant business, they would have came and attacked. Again, we think negotiation. They think weakness. So they use that as a way to say, Israel is not intervening. And then at night, when they said ceasefire, ceasefire, the classic hudna, the same thing that they did with Haybar, ya Yahud, ceasefire, they used the dawn to come with even more. And today in the morning, they entered the Sueda, that is the Druze capital. That's like entering Tel Aviv or Jerusalem with tanks, with heavy artillery, with drones, and started driving in the cities. They went into Khilwes, which is the Druze synagogues, call it that way, and started killing. We've seen these videos with bodies on the ground. They grabbed them, shaving. Yeah, and there's only one religion in the Middle East that take joy in desecrating the dead and humiliating the bodies of the enemies. You don't see the Jews doing that. You don't see the Druze doing that. You don't see the Christians doing that. Only the Muslims. They always come, and I'm talking the radical ones. I know I'm generalizing right now, but you know what? Let them defend themselves. I'm getting sick and tired of trying to defend the other side when they're not defending themselves. So they started doing October 7, and I woke up this morning to this October 7 flashback. Seeing not only that I'm seeing these images, I'm also contacting my relative, and he haven't answered me yet. So I don't know. I mean, yesterday he was telling me the shelling is coming closer and closer. I'm at home. My brother is in the front line. We have only one gun in the house, so he took the gun and he's out, but I'm here. And I told him, "Can you go to safety?" He says, "I have nowhere to go. My parents are elderly, my sister." And I said, "What are you gonna do?" He says, "We're gonna fight until the end. If they come to my house, we will die fighting them." I haven't heard from him that yet, so I'm really hoping that he's safe. I've been sending him messages. I don't even see the tick mark, So I'm kind of my brain is going through all of this, and I'm a bit pissed because Israel could have and should have reacted earlier, not only for the sake of the Druze. There is a group of people on planet Earth you don't want them to have weapons, and that is the jihadists. That's one group you say, undoubtedly, I don't. So they're coming right now like idiots, and they don't know how to fight these guys. I was in special forces. I fought these guys many times. They don't know tactics. They behave literally like a horde of savages, like Muslims. They just run, smell blood, and run. They see women and children. They get exhilarated. They see weakness. They run at it. No tactics, no strategy. They're very easy target for a professional army. So Israel could have went right now and just wiped out all of their tanks, all their artillery, and just send a message, send them running back with their tail between their legs. Stay away from the innocent people in the Middle East. Stay away from our border. But they waited. And what happened, and the fighting ended up happening in the villages. Some of the Druze, now this is going to be an interesting story because it's going to start with a down, but there is an up. Some of the Druze, seeing that, feeling that they've been left alone and that Israel is not actually coming to help, decided to surrender. They saw running out of ammunition, weapons. I mean, they're going to slaughter us and kill our families. And they were telling them, surrender won't do anything to you. So some started surrendering and more started to surrender. And then the people of Hikmat al-Hijri, that's like the fighter sheikh of the three figures there. He's like the fighting one. They said, we're not surrendering. We're fighting till the end. And they brought the fight into their neighborhoods, into the streets. And they started, ambushing them and killing them and crushing them and losing a lot of forces. And in the heat, I'm getting emotional. In this madness and crazy, Israel came with the fighter jets. And right now, I mean, you guys are hearing it live, basically. Right now, we're getting reports from our brothers and sisters in Syria. They're crushing their tanks. They're blowing them up, and that gave such power to the Druze to know that they're not alone, and sorry, I'm getting emotional here.
Every time I talk to you about this topic, I get crushed on the inside. It's I saw right before we went on, I saw the videos of the HTS and the Khilwe. I'm going to describe in graphic detail because I think it's important for you guys to hear exactly what's going on. The Druze have a custom in their religion where they grow out their mustache after a certain age. They were cutting, not shaving, they were using kitchen knives and cutting the top lip off of the human being while he's alive. Not, I want to describe this again. They weren't shaving their mustache, they were removing this part of their mouth and holding it in front of their face as they're bleeding. It crushes me because this community, I really can't explain it. I know that so many of you guys who watch this later, you've never had an experience with this community. They're the most marvelous people in the world. They're the most incredible people in the world, and I don't say that lightly. I don't say that lightly. And to see my brother dealing with this, first of all, I'm so sorry. Like my all of my condolences to you, obviously, with everything you're dealing with. But just to see this going on again, and to see even the delay, and I appreciate the IDF like you going in now and doing what needs to be done. But I think this idea that we have that we need to make peace deals with these jihadists before looking out for our own. The Druze are our own. They are our people. Our people. I take complete and utter brothership, ownership, kinship over the Druze people. They are our own. We are theirs, and they are ours. And the fact that we even hesitate, it's shameful to me. And I said this last time we went on a live. It hurts me that we have that hesitation, and that we think that sometimes we need to appease the politicians or the terrorists in suits because of a future peace deal. And I don't think that the two things are mutually exclusive. I think that the peace and serenity and tranquility of Druze in Syria, all over the Middle East, goes hand in hand. It goes in conjunction with peace with Syria, with peace with the Syrian people, with peace with Al Jolani. And it's just seeing these videos, man. It's exactly like what you were saying. I have flashbacks of October 7th. It's
You know, teared like this was actually with you. If you remember when you went to Majd al-Shams, and I just have a soft spot for that, for innocent in October 7th, for there's two religions in this world that I know that are just pure, and that they love life, they cherish life, they don't want to take life. And when you see one Jew or one Druze get killed, it really breaks your heart. I'm not also a Muslim getting killed. It breaks your heart. But with these radicals, actually, they love to see their people killed, so they don't care. But we care when we lose one, and the whole country go crazy. In the Druze community, we lose one Druze, we see one elderly being, dragged with his beard and shaved like this and humiliated, and like his family's laying dead on the floor, and these young perverts just laughing over his body and calling him dogs and everything. We've seen that in the Holocaust. We've seen similar images in the Holocaust where they were doing that to the Jews. That's a very evil tactics of humiliating your enemies. So back to our update. While everything looked lost and the Druze were, some of them giving up, surrendering, others, and the one who surrendered, they started getting information about where the other ones are fighting. So things were looking really bad for the Druze, and they were getting cut down. Then they went in their final attack, kind of, just kind of, all or nothing. And that's when the IDF came with their airplanes and with everything and really stepped it in and started blowing up, these jihadists to pieces. And that gave so much power to the Druze. And they went in. And as far as I heard lately, the Druze are now pushing them out of their city. They're running, they're fleeing, they're chasing them, they're killing them. The war is not over. It's not even close to be over. There is terrible stories of entire families. There was a family that had 25 of their, young men who died defending their home. 25 of young shababs who just went and fought until the end. And then they went and killed them, and they took their wives and their daughters and etc. There is several Druze families that are on the run right now with these jihadists chasing them because they killed the men, and there's maybe a few surviving, and they're running away with their daughters and children, but they want to make them a sex slave, so they're chasing them. So Syria, I always said that before, have become the Mad Max, the Book of Eli of jihadists. It's just a no man's land full of jihadists and radicals. And do not be mistaken. The government is part of these jihadists. They are the ones who actually took over. And I feel that maybe some of the hesitation of Israel, and we're going to find out soon when things go out from intervening, was because there's so much pressure by the Americans, the Europeans, and Saudi Arabia to normalize relationship with Syria, and Syria want to join the Abraham Accords, and everybody's falling for that. But when you look at the videos right now, these are the Syrian government. These people that he saw shaving the beards and spitting and desecrating the bodies and laughing, and kidnapping women, that's the Syrian government. So do you really think that these are the people that want to join you on the Abraham Accords? No, they're not partners. So what happens? I feel like America, and again, I might be wrong, but that's the rumors that is happening. That's what they're saying in the streets from what I'm hearing from the people in Syria. They're feeling like the West again have betrayed the minorities for the terrorists who pretend to be good and are hoping to have peace with them and sacrificing the minorities. And I feel like Israel was maybe told even, hey, stop it, stop fighting all around, let it happen. And after a certain point, I feel that Israel might have seen actually, no, this is not good. This is not that's it. And they just said when they saw the tanks driving in the streets, when they saw the massacres in the Khilwe, and you see the people who were killed, they were elderly people. They didn't have any vest on them, any weapons on them, nothing. They were just innocent civilians who just got massacred in their prayer house. They're probably sitting there praying to be saved, and they went and got massacred and tortured. So that's when Israel said, okay, gloves off, we're going in. And if you ask me, we shouldn't stop now. Israel, don't do the mistake of stopping now. These people are ISIS, Al Qaeda, and Daesh, and Hamas. They're the same thing. They hate the Jews, they hate Israel, they hate the Jews, they hate the Christians. By the way, people don't know there's several Christian people who died fighting alongside the Jews. As far as I know, there's 6 confirmed Christian fighters who went to fight alongside the Druze to save their families because the Druze are sheltering a lot of the Christians there as well. So there is a clear war right now that is happening in Syria between these jihadist Sunnah and anyone else. And the first easiest target to pick on are the minorities. It could be the Kurds, it could be the Druze, it could be the Christians, it could be the Alawites. And they're at the mercy of the West. And while the West is trying to normalize relationship with Jawlani, who are you? Let him prove that he's not. He have a track record of Olympic terrorist. Basically, he was in Al Qaeda, he was in ISIS. Not many terrorists can say that there were leadership in both. And then he jumped ship and started his own terrorist organization. So he's like a very innovative, very decorated terrorist. Okay, maybe he changed. Let him prove it. No one asked him to prove it. They're like, okay, let's believe everything he says. Let's believe everything he says. He must be a good guy because he have a suit.
The money trail, kivyachol, the path of why a lot of this is happening and the delay and the hesitation. I think it directly goes back to Trump and Trump's desire to prove that he's a peacemaker and to prove that he can make peace through the Abraham Accords and usher in. I mean, for him, it'd be a personal big achievement to say he made peace with Syria, he stabilized Syria. He'll obviously take ownership over that. And the issue is, if we keep kicking the can down the road, if we keep like the problem is ignoring the Druze is the issue. And I haven't seen since that first massacre, I never saw Bibi talking about it. I never saw Trump talking about it. Not once. It didn't make it to the mainstream media. Not once. It didn't make it to even the Israeli media, even ILTV, I-24 News. We were the only ones covering this shit. And
it's reality. You're not gonna add this jihadist to the Abraham Accord and go and collect your Nobel Prize on the expense of the blood of the innocent just so you can feel good. There is evil. Doesn't matter which suit, which outfit, which haircut, which beard does he have. It's the same evil. And we've seen that same evil in Iran. We've seen that same evil in Hamas. In Palestine, it's on steroids. We've seen that in Lebanon with Hezbollah. We've seen that in Syria. The dream that you can think that, yeah, maybe if we give them a chance, they'll do better, have never worked so far. I don't know a single Middle Eastern country that was, so evil like these guys that just became better. We do know Muslim countries that were very established, very moderate in some ways, that had crazy history here and there, but are actually aspiring to go, to a good direction right now. We see in that Saudi Arabia and the Emirates. They're still far off from, the Western standards of human rights, but they're going in a very good direction. But these radical jihadists, there's not a single proof. There's not a single example where you see they were evil and then they stopped being evil and they became good. Why does the West keep falling for that?
ego thing. It's a desire to say we solved this problem, and the issue is that we've learned, Mansoor, especially in the last year and a half, 2 years, is that the Druze, unfortunately, don't have sex appeal. They don't have the marketing. They don't have the. How is it that we're the only ones fighting? How is it that we're the only ones speaking up? Even when Majd al-Shams happened, it felt like we were talking alone. Like it felt like we were alone covering this issue. We didn't see even the influencers in our space. We didn't see people running up there to document the story. We didn't see people standing in solidarity. Not enough. Not enough. It happened, but not enough. Nowhere near enough. And for me, it's disgusting to imagine that there may even be conversations about throwing the Druze under the bus completely in pursuit of a bigger peace. I can understand it on a geopolitical level, but it's not right. It's not right. It's not the right thing to do. We can't do something like that. We can't move forward. It does look like it.
Attacked Iran in the 12-day war. People were getting, like, in day 2, day 3, people were actually very positive that maybe this regime will be toppled. Like, there's nothing better than that. That's the best outcome. No more nuclear, destructive, destroy the Jews, America, and planet Earth, and no more evil regime. But then suddenly they held back. Oh, stop it! Enough is enough. Ceasefire now, and they allowed this regime to stay. And the regime was taking names. Who are the people that dared to raise, the finger? Oh, we don't hate America. We don't hate the Jews. We want to have better life. Let's go kill them. And again, it's like every time they start the job, but then they kick the bucket to someone else, like you said. Now it makes me wonder, like, how. Now again, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but like, how deep does Arab money go into the pockets of Western leaders? How deep into their policy making, into lobby? We know that it goes very deep into universities. We see that very clearly when universities start to admire Hitler and Osama bin Laden was right and hating Israel and hating America. You start realizing, okay, that's Arab money right there. That's like jihadist and communist money going there. But even here, like, I'm fearing, you see Tucker Carlson. You're an American. I don't know what's your thought about Tucker Carlson and these dimwits, but when you become the number one to go to channel for dictators and evil regimes to come and become a PR agent to make them look good, then you're probably doing something wrong, man. You're doing something wrong when, like, Putin used you to make him look good. The Iranian regime, the president is using you to make him look good, and meanwhile you're obsessed with hating Israel. And it goes back to the saying, "No Jews, no news." And I feel like the same thing with the Druze.
Messed up. I have to ask you this, Mansoor. I think this is a really important question. We have 250, almost 300 people in and out of this live stream. I was even lost with this when it happened months ago. What is something actionable? We have people that are willing to do something. What is something we can actionize everyone who's watching this right now to do to help? What can we actually do to help?
People who are watching this video, share videos like this. Share this voice, because mainstream media is not giving us a platform. That's number one. Start being a voice for the voiceless. Don't follow mainstream media who is just telling you how to think based on who pays the money and who pushes the strings. You have individual reporters here, you can call it, that are coming and telling you, what do we know? Tal was with me after the attack on Majd al-Shams. I took him there and we went physically, and he saw the place. There was still the smell in the air of the burning, flesh and rubber that exploded. We got to talk to witnesses that seen it with their own eyes. So we're doing our best to actually tell the stories. I'm talking right now with people from Syria trying to bring their voices. That's number one. Number two is we need to start exposing radical Islam for what it is. You don't need to start, apologizing and explaining where the no. It's very easy to expose them. I mean, by the same standards that they get angry at Israel when they see a dead Palestinian kid, which we've seen a lot of these fake images where an ambulance driver is driving with a baby and is giving it. Why is the cameraman there? Why isn't he taking care? Now, why? Because they don't care about the baby. They care about you. And they know that you care about the baby, so they're going to show you the baby. And then the world go raging. But what happened when you see dead Jewish babies, when you see dead Druze babies? And it's because the way that, the world is kind of programming people to think is that whoever shouts "I'm a victim" the loudest and have more people shouting with him, he must be the victim. And then what happened? All the small people get bullied by the bad guys. So we need to start exposing them. We need to start exposing. And another thing, if you ask me, and I know it might sound radical, and I'm not extreme right. I actually used to think that I was left before, until the left got crazy, and I got left in the center. Like, what's happening? What happened with the left? They went cuckoo. But the right also sometimes going cuckoo as well. But if Israel now, I think we need to pressure the world to create a humanitarian corridor from the border of Israel all the way to Sweden, because one of the challenges is that we're unable to reach our brothers in Syria and Sweden, send them food, send them medication, send them basic equipment, Starlinks. I have very, very capable friends who've been gathering and collecting and buying all kind of devices and gifts, but you can't give it to them. You can't reach. You get ambushed and taken by the Bedouins on the way. Jordan doesn't want to let any humanitarian aid go to the Druze. Why is that? I don't know. They never want to help people in need. They just want to hate Israel. So they're alone. So Israel, I think, should go and create a humanitarian corridor. That is a humanitarian corridor that's worth actually creating. So the Druze and Sweden can have some air to breathe. They can send their people to the border with Israel, because the most safe place in Syria right now, by the way, is the occupied territories in Syria. And I know that for firsthand. The safest place in Syria right now is whatever the IDF have occupied. People there are safe. They can go to sleep. They don't need to lock their doors at night. No one's going to kidnap them. They need medications. They go to the military, the IDF with their doctors provide for them. We know that. I know that like for a fact. I know that their IDF, they coordinate sometimes with the hospitals in Israel. That's a severe case. Let them in, even though the passports, I don't know, enemy country. Let them in, save them. The hospitals in Israel are full of Syrian people saving their lives, because anywhere that Israel is controlling is becoming better. It's becoming more stable and safe. So if you ask me, Israel should go and take over all the area until the Druze mountain. Now, it might sound crazy to people, but trust me when I'm telling you, anyone that's going to be under that authority is going to be blessed. They're going to have a much better life than living under Jawlani or living under Iran or living under Hezbollah and these radicals. And for Israel, that will give it a better security border to defend itself. When the war with Iran was happening, when the Iran regime was about to be toppled, people don't know because it didn't reach the media. I was very closely monitoring it. Two armies of jihadists, not factions, armies, sponsored by Iran, that were staying in Iraq, by the way. One was Iranian, one was Iraqi. They started going toward Israel with the intention of just invading Israel. I thought, that's it. Allah Akbar, we're going to go Allah Akbar on you. Maybe some of them will even make it in and start slaughtering. The most will be killed and stopped in the way. And they were coming with, by the way, launchers, Grad missiles, and other to launch. And the place and the Jawlani forces, because the Shia Sunnah, they hate each other, so they send their army to intercept them, and they completely crush the Jawlani forces because they're so much more trained than the Jawlani forces, a bunch of jihadists. So after crushing Jawlani and going in, they stopped because the Druze mountain was separating between them into Israel, and they knew they're going to have to go and fight with the Druze, and that's going to stop them. And then Israel's going to come and kill them. So that's kind of basically what stopped them. So that Druze mountain there is literally a clear buffer zone between the lunatics and Israel. I'm not under the assumption that Druze are going to protect Israel. Israel's going to end up protecting the Druze more than they protect us, but it's equivalent. We protect them, they protect us, and I honestly think that Israel should stop behaving like some kind of a small nation, start behaving like a powerhouse of the Middle East. We need to dictate how things need to work here, not these Meshugana jihadists, these perverts. They're literally perverts, not them. They're analphabet perverts.
I wanna do something. First of all, while you were talking, I'm messaging the biggest people I know with the biggest Instagram pages right now, and I'm begging them to let us make a video right now to get on the biggest pages. Last time this happened, I made a video on my own that we all collaborated on that got nearly over 250,000 views, and I know that it sparked a movement. So I think we can, if we can push onto some of these bigger pages that are pro-Israel, we might be able to start getting a movement going, some sort of flow. But listen, there's almost 300 people watching right now. Take a moment right now. I need each and every single one of you. You're all watching right now. I need you to stop what you're doing. If it means you need to turn off the stream, turn it off for a second, and you can come right back. Go on all of your social media right now. You can choose Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever you want. Just write the words, save the Druze, and post it. Just do that right now. It's a good first step. This isn't some Black Lives Matter black box or anti Semitism blue box. This is different. We're dealing with a situation right now where these people have no coverage. No coverage. Nobody is talking about this. This isn't anti-Semitism, and it's not anti-Islam, and it's not Black Lives Matter. This is a totally different beast we're up against. People are being massacred, and nobody's hearing about it, and nobody's going to hear about it. So I need everybody who's watching this right now, don't put it in the comments of this video. Go off the video. Go to your social media, write Save the Druze, and come right back. Me and Mansoor are going to be here. We're not going anywhere. We're here. And after Mansoor, I'm going to have a more Druze guests that are going to come onto this stream. We're going to keep cycling this through for a little while here, so you guys get more and more updates. But go on your social media right now. Save the Druze. Come back to me. Let me know when you did in the comments. I'm going to one sec just go turn on the lights. I'll be right back.
Gone, guys. I just want to tell you how much I appreciate what you're seeing here is the true essence of coexistence. That is a Jew. I'm an Arab. I'm a Druze. He's an Arab Jew. We're different religions. We love one another. We will fight for one another. We die for one another. If you look at Israel, the Druze are sacrificing their life to protect the Jews, vice versa, the Jews to protect the Druze, the Christians, the Muslims. Israel is not the problem in the Middle East. I'm telling you this as an Arab. Israel is the only hope for peace in the Middle East. And the moment that this is going to be the song that Western media is going to start singing, we're going to start seeing actually a better future for the Middle East. But as long as they're actually trying to put Israel in bad light and to put the Jews in bad light and to let the jihadists in good light, it's never going to be solved. Because I'm telling you, let me tell you a secret, these jihadists are not good people. Evil is evil, doesn't matter which mask it's wearing. And it's very, very important people to understand that. So I stole your mic for a second while you were gone, but just, it was very important for me to share that.
On it too, and then maybe I'll bring on Rania after you. Um, Sorry, I'm just giving her an update that she's gonna come on soonish. Um, I want to dive into this because we did this last time, and I think it's really important. I have a newfound Christian audience that has started following my page. I know for yours as well. And I explained this last time. I would love for you to also shine more light on it. For those of you guys who maybe don't know what the origins or the essence of the Druze people are, it actually is biblical. And the reason why I, for example, feel such a kinship is because when you think about Jewish people, when you think about Druze people, they're not necessarily a different people. We kind of come from the same exact source. We have a biblical marriage that intermarried our two communities, and that marriage covenant lasts until today. Like me and Mansour, our family, we are blood. No matter how many generations are removed, we have a blood pact that was signed 3,000 years ago. And that's actually, I'll let Mansour explain it even better than me, but for those of you guys who know who Jethro is in the Bible, at least in the Jewish narrative, we believe that the Druze are the descendants of Jethro. Jethro is the most important religious figure, prophet in the Druze religion, which kind of takes things from all these beautiful religions in the Middle East and combines them into one amazing, peaceful, and open religion. But Jethro is like the main prophet. Jethro was the father of Tzipporah, the wife of Moses. So when Moses, a Hebrew, an Israelite out of slavery, married into Jethro's family, the Druze and the Jewish people became one. We had a marriage between our two families that lasts until right now. So when people ask me why this issue is so important to me, why I go to the bat sometimes more for Druze than I even do for my own people, it's because the Druze are my own people. I don't see a difference between a Druze person and a Jewish person. To me, we're part of the same exact family. We have different traditions, we have a different language, we have a different belief system. But as for the blood, we're family. And I'll let you expand on it, but it's family.
Israel, I never look in the street and think this guy's a Druze, this guy's a Jew. I don't even think he's a Christian, he's a Muslim. I think we're Israelis. But the Druze and the Jews have a very unique covenant, and it all goes down to the origins from Jethro. And I was just talking to a Druze relative of mine today that was, his family's in Syria. One of our relatives died in the fighting, and another got injured in the leg, got shot his brother, and another one is not responding to me right now. And he was telling me, if Israel doesn't help us, what should we do? Should we maybe try to appease the Jolani regime? And I told him, listen, man, let me break it for you. There's no hope there. And I told him there's different types of religions in the world. And one thing you can see about the Druze and the Jews, that they try to help, they try to guide the way. The Jews are considered the people of the book. in Judaism, in Christianity, in Islam, and Druze. They brought the books, they brought the law, they brought the teaching of one God, and they blessed the world with that. They literally blessed the world with that. People don't know that the word Gehenom, Jehannam, came from a place called Gai Ben Hinnom, which is the valley of Hinnom. And that was outside of Jerusalem. In that valley, they used to sacrifice a lot of humans and children, and also, goats with their babies and the milk of its mother, all kind of crazy stuff. And there was always fire and flames and screaming, and that's where the word Gehenom came. Hell, by the way, because of that. So there was a lot of very evil, pagan, crazy cow poop that's happening. And then the Jews came and brought a very unique religion that teach about one God, teach about humans and the story that they struggle and that no one is perfect, but we all aspire to become better. And they brought the blessing being the people of the book. The Druze brought a very, very unique, different blessing. They brought blessing of hospitality. And look at from the beginning, and anyone who knows the Druze knows that they're very hospitable. And it's hospitality and guidance. When you walk into a Druze village, they will welcome you in. Jethro, Yitro, the father-in-law of Moses, the father of Zipporah, who married Moses, he brought Moses when Moses was a nobody, a little abandoned young man running in the desert, afraid for his life. He welcomed him to his tribe. He taught him how to become a shepherd. He taught him how to become a leader. That's in the Bible. He taught him how to govern the country, govern people. He taught him how to be kind and brave and strong. And he loved him so much that he even let him marry his daughter. And then he sent them with a blessing, and with the power of God, let my people go. And he started his journey. So that Druze hospitality of welcoming people into us. The Druze are very hospitable. Anyone comes in peace, come in, and they will sit with you. They will talk to you. They will go out of their way to help you. And anyone who encountered and visited a Druze village know what I'm talking about. Not only good food, but very good hospitality. They're not judgmental. They're actually super excited to know which religion you come from. Oh, you're Christian. We love the Christians. Sidna al-Masih, our grandfather, the Messiah, they call him. You are a Muslim, they want to hear about your prophet. You're a Jew, they want to hear about your religion. You're an atheist, they want to hear about it. You're from the Hindu, you want to hear about it. So they're very welcoming, but that special bond that they had with the Jews, I think it's like a blood covenant. That imagine two brothers that got separated by birth at a very young age, and then they meet one day. And each one comes with his scars and with his life and with his addictions and with his problems that he had along the way, heartbroken, built some walls to protect him. But then you meet a brother and you see, like, he's like me. And you slowly start coming close. And that was the story of the Jews and the Druze. They came and they started slowly come closing to each other and bringing the walls down, peeling the onions down, and became closer. And today in Israel, the Druze and the Jews are the only two groups, actually, that have all the rights and the obligations. The Druze have to serve in the army, the Jews as well. Other groups have all the rights, not necessarily all the obligations. The Christians and the Muslims, they don't have to serve in the army. They can if they want, they don't have to, because the Druze and the Jews are carrying that burden for everyone else. So it shows you that beautiful story of this blood covenant, and I think the best, and it gives me goosebumps here, Israel standing with the Druze after the massacre of Majd al-Shams. And later on, Israel standing with the Druze in Syria. Israel have no incentive as a modern democracy government to go and to fight a war in an enemy country for a minority of citizens in that country. But Israel came and said, out of our respect for the loyalty and the love for Druze citizens, we are willing to go to war for them. And just imagine what a crazy thing that's to do. That is like, there's not a single country in the world that is doing that. You don't see United States even going to war in Mexico to save some people or in Colombia that are being oppressed by the cartels. They don't do that. I mean, it's terrible. They would love to see them, succeed and have a better life. But Israel is literally going out of, an American who come and say, we have so many Hispanics in America. We love you guys so much. You're so great. You're great citizens. We're going to go right now and fix South America for you. They don't do that. Israel is literally doing that. They're saying, we're going to go, and if anyone touch the cousins of our citizens, we will take them down. Not Jewish, Druze citizens. So that just shows you what an amazing country Israel is, and what a beautiful covenant does the Jews and the Druze have. On October 7th, one of the most famous sacrifices that happened was of Salman Habaki. He was the commander of the tank platoon. And while the citizens were fighting in the streets in Be'eri, were fighting for their lives, and the paratroopers got there and they didn't know what's happening, just fighting for their life against these hordes of jihadists, suddenly out of nowhere, a tank comes. And on the radio, you can hear that radio. He comes and says, "My name is Salman, and I'm here." And everybody's like, "What is the tank doing here?" What he did, he defied direct orders. He jumped on his tank and he drove all the way to save the Jews.
We're all with you. We really are all with you.
And it won't stop.
Supersedes this supersedes political ties, it supersedes land, it supersedes religion. It's a blood pact. It really is a blood pact. And I feel bad for those Jews or those Israelis who haven't had the experiences that even I have had that have motivated me to be so vocal about my Jewish brothers and sisters. To make it a little bit lighter for a moment, I want to tell you guys a story. Mansour was talking about the Druze hospitality. Well, before I moved to the apartment that I'm living in right now, my friend Barak and I, we drove up to near Majd al-Shams to a town called Bukata, which is known as the more religious Druze village in the Golan Heights. And we simply went there to have dinner. Barak had never eaten Druze food before. I said, "You've got to experience this because the hospitality is insane." We walk into this restaurant. Of course, like Mansour said, the owner, beautiful man, older man with a mustache, comes up to us like Santa Claus, the most jolly, the most happy, the most welcoming possible. Just come. What do you need? Where are you coming from? What's your story? Why are you here? We came in the middle of the night. It just came to sit with us, just to talk with us, like so excited and joyful about the fact that we're in his restaurant. Then, then the queen herself walked in. His wife, Nasiba. Her name is Nasiba. She came in. She took our order of what we wanted to eat. She said, fuck your order. I'm going to bring you everything I want to bring you. And then she started bringing out food. And when she finished bringing out food, she brought us tea. And then she started bringing out photo albums. We didn't ask. She started bringing photo albums of the family and what they do and her sons. And within, I'm not joking, within 30 minutes, I felt like I had made new, genuine friends. And we ended up sitting there for 2.5 hours. I just asked a simple question because I just moved to a new apartment. I didn't have a couch. I didn't have anything to sit on in my apartment. I wanted to buy the poofs that Bedouins and Druze sometimes sit on when they build like a khilwe, not a khilwe, a hammam in the backyard. Um, so I just asked the question, do you know where in the village I can buy one? Because I want to go buy one. Within 10 seconds, there were 4 in my hands. These are massive poofs that cost a pretty penny, and she's telling me, take them. And I say, Nasiba, I just met you. I don't feel comfortable. I told her I genuinely don't feel comfortable to take from you these things. Take, just take them. And she ended up giving me these massive poofs to sit on, which the first couple months I spent in this apartment, I was sitting on a blessing for my Druze friends. And I'm still in touch with her till today. I remember the day that Assad fell, she was sending me memes about Assad and his underwear, all these pictures that were exposed of Assad. And this is one of those things that I don't, you know, I've traveled around the world. I've been to 77 countries. I've had a lot of incredible experience. Hey, Rafi, how you doing, brother? you have you have the best dad in the world. You have the number one dad in the world. I want you to know. Best Abba ever.
Enough. That's how many people live are watching us. And that's how many people liked us. They did like this because they liked you. I'm cleaning. Ooh, €0.50. We're rich.
This is the story that I wanted to bring to you as like just this is just a personal testament that's happened to me just this year. I mean, I could list you stories that have happened to me with the Druze people throughout my life because I've had a lot of interaction. But this is just one story that happened now recently that when you see the passion behind why we fight for this, this is a blood pact. My home is open for any Druze who ever wants to come. The same way that I know if I want to enter a Druze's home, the door is open for me without question. It's just come and receive, come and be. It's the same with me. If a Druze person ever needed to stay, to come, to be, to eat, I would do everything because I know this is blood. This is dumb. This is deeper.
To the pits of hell to go and save Jewish people. Mothers and daughters and children that were locked in bomb shelters. A friend of mine once asked me in Europe, "Are you crazy? Why would you fight for your country? Why would you fight for politicians?" I told him, "We're not fighting for country and a politician. We're fighting for the people. We're fighting because there was a mother that was locked inside of a basement and begging for her life while these monsters are outside trying to break in." That's what we went. And, my family have fought in all of the wars of Israel, every single one of them. I was in several of them, and our children will keep doing that. Why is that? Because we are fighting for a better future for our children. The Druze and the Jews are in this together. It's a blood covenant. And today, October 7th, and other occasions, it was proven again and again that whenever one falls, the other one stands with him. And just you coming and offering your platform right now, there's 278 people live here standing and watching. That's more than a professor will get at a university. When I was in university, you'll get a room full of 50 people. You get so happy. Now, there's 278 people live sitting and watching, and you're giving me your platform. I know later on more people will watch this. So standing by us in our times of need and standing with you guys, it's what blood covenant really means. In good and in bad. And I think we've been proving that again and again. And I'm so proud of my country, and I'm so proud of my Jewish friends, brothers and sisters, our Christian friends that are standing here, that are watching, that are supporting. So I just wanted to say that. Thank you. And someone was asking if I have a Discord. So yes, I have a Discord. It's from the times when I was a gamer in university, so I barely ever use it. But someone asked a more important question here. Do the Druze in Syria, are they going to be loyal to Israel if, and et cetera, et cetera? Well, you need to understand, the Druze, they try to stay away from politics. And the Druze, up until Israel, only lived under evil regimes. Only lived under oppressive, evil regimes. And the way to survive was to say, we're not a threat to you guys. Actually, even more in Syria and in Lebanon and in Jordan, they had to live in taqiyya, meaning that they had to actually hide their identity and say, we're Muslims. Otherwise, they will be kuffar and they will be killed. And often they had to flee to the mountains, and they had to become farmers and warriors to fight. And the first time in the history of the Druze that they actually had equal rights, like the people who were governing over them, was in Israel. That's the first time where you start seeing young Druze girls flying satellites into space, and Druze fighter pilots and officers and intelligence and lawyers and judges in the Supreme Court and in the government and women and etc. And we're talking about crazy stuff, women driving a car. And that was like, might sound very, very like, what are you talking about? Many, many Arab countries, you don't see women driving cars. In Israel, they can get a license. They can go, they have social insurance. They had a good life. My mom is one of the most respected and loved women in the Jewish city that we're living in. Everybody who sees her in the street welcomes her. Everybody knows her. She literally raised half the city because she was a kindergarten teacher, and half the children in that city, not half, but quite a lot, went under her education. So the Druze in Syria and in Lebanon have been living under this propaganda that Israel is evil, that the Jews are evil, they're wicked, that they drink babies' blood, that they just want to fight, and etc. And to some of them, they've never met a Jew. They've only been hearing it. Luckily for them, they had relatives that were afraid to talk to us because they will get killed if they found that they're talking to Israelis. But they will talk to us sometimes. And the question that they will ask us will be shocking. They say, like, are they really treating you so bad? I said, no, we're treating us great. I said, what do you mean? I said, yeah, my best friends are Jews. Really? And we tell them, yeah, I mean, they're the best people in the world, man. I'm so lucky that I have Jewish friends, Christian friends in Israel, and etc. And that was cracking a lot. And now with the Assad regime falling down, they start to get open and open. So yes, there's a lot of maybe hesitation, but in general, they never hated the Jews. They always said they're ulad amna, they're our cousins. So if they ever end up coming and living with Israel, I am positive that they'll become great citizens and great support of this country. In general, any religion in the Middle East, except for Islam, will end up becoming very great citizens to any country that they go to. because they respect the rules and they don't try to change and convert you by force. Islam have their own problem. They need to solve their own problem of trying to convert planet Earth or kill them.
We were to absorb the Druze community or at least have an autonomous zone, the cooperation would be amazing. I really believe the same way that I believe in a strong Israel. I believe in a strong Druze area. I believe in a strong Druze nation, in a Druze nation that can protect itself, that can defend itself, that has. And I think that I think between you and I, we can say Druze people have learned a lot since October 7th, also, especially since Majd al-Shams and now many Jewish people are waking up to the fact that maybe they don't want independence, but they want the strength to be able to protect themselves because they know that the Muslims in this area, they're looking at them the same way that they look at the Jews. When can we pick you off? When can we take advantage of you? And I think the Jewish people know now more than ever that it's time to maybe not make peace with Israel, but unify with Israel ideologically to usher in a new age here in the Middle East. Mansoor, I want to let you go. I want to bring on Khalifa because he's ready to come on. Um, yeah, I will.
The followers that are seeing here, I've seen so many familiar names, and that's because a lot of the people that started following my channel came from the traveling clad. They used to say, we are the clad people, the tal people. So thank you so much, BT, and people that I saw here, Torah Worldwide, and all these legends. We love you guys.
We're very big fans of Mansoor. Fans. I did. By the way, I did a podcast today in Tel Aviv, and Yon ended up being the videographer, and I was talking about you in the podcast. And I didn't say your name, but me and Yon looked at each other. We knew exactly who I was talking about. We both looked at each other and smiled. Our crazy Druze brother.
Thank you so much.
Mansoor, אני
Stay
אוהב
safe.
אותך המון, אחי. My heart's with you, brother. Love you.